Daphne was born in New York City. She was raised by her mother in Chinatown. She always wished her father to be with her. But when she gets sad, her mom tells her daughter about the story of how she met Daphne's dad, Henry. He brought her back to his rich family. They didn't like her. They were the royal family. But when Henry's father passed, Henry had the responsibility to take care of the family's business. And Daphne's mom had to leave. We then jump to Daphne, who is working with her mom as staff of a wedding reception. During the event, Daphne feels a little sad when observing a little girl dancing with her father. That reminds her of the father that never was in her life. Her mom catches her and comes to talk to her. Daphne understands that her mom did this for her, but she is still sad and thinks maybe the dad would have reacted differently if he knew Daphne existed. That same night, Daphne makes some researches and finds her father. So the next day, she jumps on a flight to London to go find him. As she checks into the hotel, she learns on the news that her father Henry gave up his seat at the royal family to run for prime minister and that he is having a fiancée, as well as a new stepdaughter. This makes Daphne think twice about what she came to London for. She then gets the courage and heads to the palace. She ends up breaking in. Clarissa the stepdaughter saw her and thought she saw a bird. Daphne comes to the window and Clarissa sees her. She screams at Henry. He goes, catches her and brings inside, interrogating, thinking she is a paparazzi. But Daphne reveals that she is his daughter. Everyone is shocked, including Henry, who is speechless. He refuses to believe it. This hurts Daphne, who wants to leave thinking it's a mistake, but Henry's mother offers Daphne to stay in the house until it's all cleared. Noelle and Clarissa are trying to make Henry change his mind. Meanwhile, Henry's mother shows Daphne her room and she is amazed at how big it is. Moments later, Henry calls Libby. He gets angry at her for not telling him he had a daughter this whole time. She didn't want her to get hurt and she hangs up. The next day, Henry's election team are trying to find a way to announce Daphne to the press without ruining his chances at winning the election. Moments later, Henry invites Daphne to a show. The jealous Clarissa spies on the conversation. Daphne then brings some photos of her growing up. Henry is visibly affected by the daughter he missed. Meanwhile, outside, Ian, the front desk guy of the hotel Daphne became friends with, is trying to visit Daphne. But he is refused entrance by the guard. The next day, the entire family leaves to the show without Daphne because she was taking too long getting ready. Daphne then arrives to the show by herself but is refused entrance. So she sneaks in like she knows how to do. She then walks through the wrong door and ends up on the runway. Everyone is shocked, but Daphne continues by walking like a model, but then falls, embarrassing herself. Moments later, Daphne keeps telling everyone she is Henry's daughter. This makes Noelle, Clarissa and Alistair, Henry's right-hand man and Noelle's father, angry. Alistair reassures his daughter that Daphne will be gone in no time. The next day, Henry asks his fiancée and Clarissa to find a dress for Daphne for the gala this Saturday. Clarissa uses this opportunity to tell Daphne to go home, that she doesn't belong here. Daphne replies that she is not going anywhere, to deal with it. Moments later, Jocelyn, Henry's mother, comforts Daphne after hearing what happened. She adds that Noelle is about to marry Henry and that's why her and her daughter are so hostile towards Daphne. Days later, Saturday arrives and the infamous gala takes place. Daphne is a little overwhelmed but Jocelyn helps her behave. Paparazzis are all over Daphne. At this moment, Jake asks Daphne for a dance. He is Clarissa's crush. The singer starts singing and Daphne realizes it's Ian. She immediately leaves Jake to come closer to Ian, listening his great song. After the concert, Daphne goes to talk to him finally after all this time. She tells Ian how she liked his music. Daphne and him agree the party is bad, so they decide to shake things up. Ian then hits the stage and sing a groovy song, while Daphne is trying to get everyone to loosen up on the dance floor. It works and everyone is dancing their hearts out. This makes the precious chandelier of the owner of the house fall, ending the party as Henry tells Daphne it's time to go. The next day, Noelle informs Henry that yesterday's scandal of the chandelier is all over the news. Daphne then shows up and apologizes for yesterday. At this moment, Ian shows up to pick up Daphne. He meets Henry and both get to a little talk. Daphne then shows up ready to go and both drive off on Ian's motorcycle. They then go on a date the entire day. Days later, the family goes to another event. Henry is shocked to notice Ian also working there as valet. Daphne is also surprised. Jake then comes to Ian to tell him to stay away from Daphne, that she is out of his league. The event starts and reporters are all over Daphne regarding the chandelier incident. A little later, Jake talks bad about Ian and asks Daphne for the kiss he thinks she has been wanting to give, but instead she pushes him in the lake. Paparazzi are all over. Henry takes her aside. They try to run away from them, but they are everywhere. So Henry takes Ian's motorcycle and drives away with Daphne. They go to a park and bond as father and daughter. Hours later, they come back to the palace, but reporters are waiting for them. So Daphne shows him how she climbed the first time. As time goes, Henry's reckless behavior is starting to affect his reputation and his chances for election. So Henry has no other choice than tell his daughter to change her behavior to conform to the royal family standards. She does exactly that and Henry is back in popularity. She even cancels on Ian, who doesn't recognize Daphne anymore. Weeks go by and Daphne party promised by her dad finally takes place. The official introduction of Daphne Reynolds. She realizes Ian is also the singer at this event. She is sorry, but Ian asks her what happened to the old Daphne, the real Daphne. At this moment, she notices her mom. Libby tells her daughter that Jocelyn invited her. Libby then finally comes face to face with Henry after so long. He takes her dancing, which makes Noelle jealous. Meanwhile, Daphne overhears Alistair talking on how he got rid of her mother. She confronts him and Noelle locks her in a room. She comes back and tells her father in front of everyone that she doesn't want any of it. She misses being herself. So the next day, she leaves the palace with her mother. Ian and Henry feel so sad Daphne left. One night, Henry gets a talk with his mother, who thinks he is about to sacrifice his heart. The next day, Henry informs the public that he is removing himself from running for Prime Minister. Everyone is in shock. Alistair is angry and confronts him. But Henry tells him he knows he lied to him, as well as to Libby. That's why she left 17 years ago. Alistair tells him he knew Libby was pregnant and that's why he made sure she leaving. After hearing that, Henry punches him. We are then shown Daphne waking one of her events. Daphne and Libby are then shocked. Henry arrives to the event. He apologizes to Daphne and both make peace. He then gives her the father-daughter dance she always dreamed of. He then surprises her with Ian, who is also here. He also reunited with Libby. The movie ends by showing Alistair working as a tour guide. Libby and Henry got married and lived happily ever after with Daphne.